Update. Am I the a-hole for sending my daughter to live with her grandmother and giving her clothes to her sister? Original story. Okay, so title is a doozy, but let me explain. I, 34 female, am a single mother with 2 children, 14 female and 11 female. Up until recently, they've had a typical sibling relationship, bickering, but they ultimately love each other. This all changed on Thursday. I was taking 11 out for a birthday shop and had left 14 home alone. We were only gone for 2 hours. When we got back, everything was fine. 14 was doing her homework and she had done the chores I had asked her to. 11 ran up to her room to try on new clothes when I hear screaming. 14 had completely trashed her, 11's, room. Her clothes were cut up. Her makeup had been destroyed and smeared on the walls and desk. Her books had been ripped up and schoolwork missing. We found it in a bin bag outside and it was luckily unharmed along with her favorite stuffed animal. 11 was, understandably, in hysterics and 14 seemed to show remorse, but I was so overwhelmed that I called my mom and told her she needs to come pick 14 up. Whilst we were waiting, 11 was sifting through her stuff and I was in 14's room going through her clothes. She asked what I was doing, and I told her that since she destroyed 11's clothes, she needs some to wear whilst I get her some more. And I'm giving her 14's clothes for the time being. 14 still had enough clothes to wear though. She got super upset and went outside to wait for her grandma. It's Saturday and I was talking to my sister and friends about it. My sister called me an a-hole for shipping 14 off without trying to understand her motives and for giving her clothes to 11. She accused me favoring 11. My friends also said it was weird that I gave 14's clothes to 11 and that it was an odd punishment. Am I the a-hole? Info. I don't favor one daughter over the other. I grew up as the obvious second choice out of myself, and my sister and I strive to make them both feel loved. Literally last weekend, 11 went to stay with her uncle and cousin, so 14 and I could have a spa weekend together. So it's not like I neglected either of them. We're also very open about mental health in general, and this is one of the only times I've acted on anger/impulse in front of my kids. 14 doesn't have any diagnosed illnesses. It was a priority to get them both checked because I have mental illnesses. But 14 got checked in September 2020 and nothing came up. I'm going to get 14 a therapist, but it's hard due to recent events. Now for the top comments before reading the update. So, just suddenly, out of the blue, for no apparent reason, your daughter violently destroyed her sister's room and property? There's some missing info here. I hardly agree. 14 has some, obviously, pent-up issues toward 11. That is a massively destructive outburst, malicious and targeted. There's clearly some pent-up rage, but not necessarily because of 11. It's entirely possible that 14-year-old is being victimized by someone that is taking it out on a safe target. Not a a-hole. It was a good decision to remove one child from a clearly overwhelming situation, but now begins the work. You need to find out why this happened. There must be a reason somewhere. Don't make the mistake of just being angry with 14. There needs to be consequences, sure, but also some serious source finding. This had a reason. Not a a-hole. Separating the 2 girls was absolutely necessary, and it was a good idea for you to get some time and space so that you could cool down by sending the offending child to a neutral location with a supportive family member. The heat of the moment is not a good time for conversation. Since 14 destroyed 11's clothing, it is only just that some of 14's clothes to be given to her. It's not punishment, it's reparations. Why should you be forced to go out and spend money replacing clothing that 14 destroyed? I think your focus in getting everyone to a good mental place is absolutely spot on. Don't listen to people who think you were too hard on your older daughter because your response was logical and measured and thoughtful. You say you acted out of anger, but you were not nasty or punitive. You did exactly what I would have done, and did once. It is not productive to force people to live inside a pressure cooker. Edit. People are assuming I'm not talking to 14. I am. I also asked why she did what she did before her gran arrived, and she said she didn't know. Earlier today, she told me she wanted to smash things up. People also have an issue with the length that I've sent her away. I want to make sure 11 is okay mentally too. She had literally all of her belongings ruined, and I don't want to put her in a position where she has to live with someone who did that to her. I am planning on switching the girls. 11 goes to grandma and 14 comes to me. But again, I want to make sure everyone is okay mentally. Someone mentioned a TikTok trend where people trash other people's belongings. I know both 14 and 11 watch TikToks, so I might scroll through the videos to look for evidence. And now for the update. So 11 and I went to my mom's house for Easter and I saw 14. We had been talking on FaceTime and on call. She was happy to see me, and I told her we needed to have a long talk about what had happened. I said what she did was very out of character, and that I want to get to the bottom of it. I asked if 11 had done anything to provoke her and if she was jealous. She didn't believe 11 deserved a birthday out because 11 had neglected her chores the previous day. She didn't do the dishes after dinner like she's meant to. Whilst that was something to grasp onto, it didn't totally make sense, as I've never said you can't do X because of Y, unless they did something terrible or there was something we had to do like other commitments. I tried to press further into why 14 felt that way, but she didn't say. I also have never done this to 14. I asked if she had negative feelings. She said sort of. She says she gets super angry at random, and often inconsequential. Things like YouTube taking longer to load, or if we don't have a snack she wants to eat. For example, but sometimes there is no reason, and she just gets angry, which is what happened on Thursday. She said she started with 11's lamp, then a glass on her counter, and the more stuff she smashed/destroyed, the better she felt. She explained the ordeal as her blacking out, because she didn't realize how far she'd gone until she had destroyed everything. She said she felt terrible though. She didn't tell me why she wrecked 11's room specifically, but I inferred it has to do with her feelings that 11 didn't deserve a birthday day out, so it was a punishment of sorts fueled by this irrational anger. I understand that 14's explanation may seem all over the place, but I was, and am, just happy to have something out of her and hopefully she'll be able to work through it with professionals. I also apologized for kicking her out and letting my emotions get the better of me. She accepted. On Monday, 14 had her first meeting with a psychiatrist, Jane. She hasn't been able to diagnose 14 with anything yet, but from talking to 14 and Jane afterwards, it's likely 14 has narcissism disorder and perhaps intermittent explosive disorder, but these aren't concrete. I'm doing research on both these things to help 14 the best I can. I do want to address some things that were brought up a lot in the original post. The whole point of separating the girls was to help 11 come to terms with 98% of her stuff being obliterated off the face of the earth, to rebuild her room and safe space, to help her decide which broken objects she wants to keep, etc. It was a snap judgment fueled by emotion, definitely, but I still had to make a decision. 14 is very close to her grandmother, and if 14 is anything like me at that age, she'd spill to her grandmother. Sending 14 to her grandmother's house was not, and should never, be punishment. In that moment, I was so angry and out of my head that any attempt to have a civil sit-down chat with 14 would have inevitably turned into a screaming match, which is not what anyone needed/needs. Now comes the hard bit. 11 is traumatized. She said she'd come with me to see grandma, but she didn't want to see 14. She told me she's afraid of 14, which I feel is warranted, but I haven't voiced that. She stayed in the car during the visit. 11 has almost reverted back to a young child. She started coming into my bed at night due to nightmares, and she also seems very detached from her former self. She's now quite cold, whereas she was very bubbly before. We've been very open about the whole situation, and 11 just says it's hard because she's lost things from friends and family members that were very valuable, as well as trivial things, like her favorite pair of socks or pen. I've done my best to try to substitute things. 11 has become very clingy to me and my plan of switching living situations. 14 comes to me and 11 goes to grandma won't be happening anytime soon. 11 gets visibly panicked when I mention it. I'm going to get 11 a therapist, and after speaking to Jane, we all, Jane, grandma, 14, and I, agreed that 14 should stay with grandma until 11 is okay mentally. I'm still going to visit 14 regularly, and we plan to talk every night. I've also told 14 that she is going to have to pay for everything we buy for 11, and that's starting from next week. She'll have to re-earn her belongings through good behavior, chores, etc. Grandma's on board with us and is going to help me with it. Her electronic access is limited to schoolwork, and she can earn back minutes of electronic fun time, just like her belongings. So overall, things are getting slowly better, but it's going to be a long ride. Thank you to everyone who was actually helpful. It meant a lot. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for sending my daughter away? I, 52 female, am a single mom with 5 kids. 3 of them are adults and 2, 14 female and 13 male, are minors who live with me. Their father is currently incarcerated. 14 female has been diagnosed with major depressive disorder and severe anxiety and has been struggling with it for the past 2 years. I've tried to be there to support her, but I work a lot to make ends meet. There has been some issues in my past that may have contributed to her condition, alcoholism, but I'm working on getting it under control. The problem is that I feel like she isn't making any progress. She has meds that apparently aren't working anymore, and she's been hospitalized twice. I feel like she isn't implementing any of the skills and coping mechanisms she's learned. She says that she's trying, but it's harder than I think it is. I've been through my own issues before, and I do realize that is not easy, but I feel like it's been long enough. So I made the decision to send her to her aunt's house for a few weeks. I think she'll be able to have a more rigid schedule and support system over there. I told her about it last night, and she freaked out. Told me that I didn't love her and that I was just sick of dealing with her and her issues. And when I stuck my ground, she told me that she didn't feel safe at her aunt's house and should go anywhere but there, which I think are just excuses. So, am I the a-hole? Edit. Some additional information. 1. She had a therapist for months, but she was the one who wanted to stop, about a month ago. Because apparently, her therapist was saying a lot of things that made her feel bad about herself. I'm actively looking for a new one within our budget. 2. I love my daughter very much, despite what you think. 3. My adult children do not speak to me. They keep in touch with their younger siblings, but I don't even know where they live. 4. I probably should have included it in the post. But another reason for sending her away is for my son's sake. He hates seeing his sister like that, and it makes him extremely upset that she won't interact with him anymore as they grew up very close. Also, they have a drastically different relationship with their father, and it's something that causes fights between them. He regularly speaks to and visited, because of COVID, him, and she has been no contact for about 2 years now. Now for the top comments. The biggest you're the a-hole I can possibly give. Let's count out why. 1. You're quick to dismiss that your alcoholism has seriously contributed to her illness and give yourself plenty of leeway in getting it under control, which you don't give her, despite the fact that she's 14. Being 14 is hard enough. 2. If she's not making any progress, why would sending her somewhere she really hates be any better? It's obvious you're just trying to get rid of her, so it's less headache for you, and she's definitely aware of that. 3. The fact that she's saying anywhere but there about her aunt's house is so upsetting. How do you know nothing bad has happened to her there? Have you even bothered asking why she doesn't feel safe there? At 14, sounds like this poor kid has been through more than some adults. The fact that she's been hospitalized multiple times is terrifying. Take actual care for her and ask her what she needs. 4, and don't forget Dad is in prison. This brings to mind 2 possibilities. He may be the better emotionally supportive parent and is now unavailable. 5. Dad may also have been an addict, /alcoholic/violent, adding to the chaotic childhood caused by mom's alcoholism. I know not all prisoners are addicts or abusers, but this seems a strong possibility. 6. I wonder if one of the 3 adult children were parentified, so she's lost her real mom. You're the a-hole. She didn't feel safe at her aunt's house and should go anywhere but there. If she doesn't feel safe at her aunt's place, then don't send her to her aunt's place. If you dismiss this as just an excuse, I think I can see why she may have some diagnosis. You're the a-hole for so many reasons. I'm surprised no one has brought it up. You're an alcoholic that's still working on getting it under control as a 52-year-old adult. Why are you allowed 50 plus years to get your crap under control, but your child needs a timeline? Your child deserves better than you. Edit 2. Okay, I get it. I am the a-hole. I have thrown away the idea of sending my daughter to her aunt's. My eldest daughter drove 3 hours to pick 14 female up, and she tore into me when she got here. As much as some of you are reading between the lines and drawing conclusions that aren't true, A lot of you have really good points. I can't be a good parent when I'm not dealing with my own issues in a healthy way. I'm going to work harder to solve them. I will try to let my older daughter know about the possible abuse and see if she can get her to open up. Because obviously 14 female will not talk to me about it right now. Lastly, big screw you to the people leaving death threats in my PMs. It's never okay, even if you think I'm the most awful person in the world. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my parents to punish my sister? I, 15 female, live with my parents and my siblings, 11 female and 8 male. My sister and I do not have a good relationship. I think she's spoiled, entitled, and whiny as hell. I think my parents let her act however the heck she wants to act, and they don't give a crap how it affects everyone else. It's like she's still 2 years old, allowed into everyone's things, to interrupt when people are talking, is allowed to dictate stuff even when it's meant to be someone else's turn. Like my brother's birthday. He wanted burgers and she wanted pizza. So pizza it was. Even though her favorite place he doesn't like and it was his birthday, or when it was mine and I wanted tacos and she wanted pizza. Another time I was babysitting and my brother and I wanted McDonald's and she wanted pizza again, and she threw an epic tantrum because she couldn't get her way, and then our parents told me I was wrong. Even for family time, she will throw a tantrum if she doesn't like the movie chosen and then she gets to choose. They've even changed my brother's last 2 birthday parties to do what she likes instead of what he likes. And he was heartbroken the last time because he really wanted to do karting. I hate it. She's not a baby. She's just spoiled, and I do not like spending time with her. I only spend time with her when it's family time, and even then, it's such a PITA. I have a diary where I vent about her, so I won't end up saying that stuff to her face. I keep it under my mattress. Yesterday, I was dropping off stuff at my grandparents' house, and when I got home, she had turned my room upside down and she found my diary. She was hurt by the stuff she read, and mad about it too, and she threw another tantrum. But I was more pissed. My parents were mad at me when she snooped and tossed my stuff around. They said my punishment should be having to clean it up, which I found really unfair, and I told them it was her that should be punished. I told them nobody will want to deal with her eventually if she keeps acting like that, and she deserved to be punished for doing what she did. My parents were then even more mad that I was telling them what to do and how to parent. They said I should apologize for that. I don't think it's wrong when they're the ones encouraging bad behavior. I also think it's unfair when they let her get away with crap. Not a-hole. You need to start throwing a tantrum back and get your brother involved as well. 2 can yell louder than 1. A resounding chorus of "that's not fair," "she's a brat," etc. may start resonating with your parents. If they want an easy life and giving into her is it, then play her at her own game. Birthday party-wise, definitely start outright refusing. No, it is my/brother's birthday. If she doesn't like it, she's not invited. And definitely start telling your sister this stuff directly. I don't want you at my birthday. You're trying to change it to what you want. So you aren't welcome. Keep it up, ignore the tears, etc. Refuse to apologize and speak calmly to parents about their favoritism and how they're ruining your birthdays to the point you won't want anything to do with your sister when you're old enough to have a choice. This stuff will sink in, but be clear and direct. Speak with authority. Not a-hole. This is clear favoritism. She's going to have a hard time when she gets older and people stop tolerating her shenanigans. Your parents are mad at you because you're right. If they weren't so bad at parenting, you wouldn't need to tell them how to parent. She will probably manipulate other people. Not a-hole. She's their golden child. They don't want to acknowledge it, but it's true. So many stories on Reddit about the golden child and how parents indulge them to the detriment of their relationships with their other kids, such as in the case of you and your brother. These actions they're doing right now will be the roots of your low/no contact with them and your sister in the future. Not a-hole. Your parents are enabling her behavior, and they're either willfully ignorant about it or know exactly what they're doing and have picked her out as the golden child. Can you go to your grandparents about how your parents and sister are acting? They've tried before. My parents don't care. It annoys the crap out of them too.